Hey, what's going on everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. Okay, so it's no secret that I have been very negative towards Pokemon Go and Niantic for the past couple of years, and it's really because there has been more things to complain about as opposed to things to celebrate. And I really think that when it comes to Pokemon Go, there's just so many improvements that the game could make. But at the very least, what I want to do is also talk about some of the positives, because yeah, there has been a lot of really good things that Niantic has done for Pokemon Go players, and often a lot of that stuff gets overshadowed by all the negatives that Niantic does. So I wanted to dedicate an entire video talking about some of the big wins we had as Pokemon Go players, mainly because Niantic has been doing some good things. We have to admit that. I think when it comes to Pokemon Go, there's just a lot of contention between Niantic and the Pokemon Go community, and I think a big part of that is because Niantic makes a lot of design decisions that players just simply do not like. But at the same time, they often do a couple of things right, and I really want to talk about that. So there are two areas where I feel like Niantic did a lot of good for Pokemon Go, and within these two areas, there's just a lot of things that we enjoy right now as Pokemon Go players, which we did not have before. So yeah, the first thing I gotta talk about is, of course, raid battles. Yeah, there's a lot of issues with raiding that we've seen over the past couple of years. There's certainly a lot of problems with connectivity issues, with people losing raid passes when the raid bugs out, but at the same time, Niantic has made a lot of improvements. There has been a lot of stability within raid battles as of late, and I also feel like from a quality of life perspective, Niantic made a lot of really positive changes over the past several years. First and foremost, we are able to skip raid lobby timers, which is something that has created a lot of quality of life improvements, mainly because if people are chain raiding and they want to jump into a raid and not wait 2 minutes because the raid lobby is full, then you're now able to do so, and I think that's something that is a really big change. Now let's talk about the gameplay aspect. When it comes to dodging, recently I talked about this, but they made it so that dodging attacks from the raid boss is much easier now compared to before. Yes, for a very long time it seemed like dodging was something that was incredibly buggy, but they did fix those issues, and now they made it so much easier. And then on top of that, there's stuff like Mega Evolutions, there's stuff like the Necrozma Fusions and Shadow Pokemon, and a lot of the stuff that makes raiding so much easier. There's just plenty of legendary raid bosses that you can actually solo, like you do not need other players, and I feel like for a lot of these, it's only because Niantic continued to add a lot of different content that allowed us to be a lot more powerful than we were before. So yeah, I think there's a lot of quality of life improvements related to raiding that was implemented, and I think a lot of this stuff needs to be highlighted because Niantic did a really good job continuously improving raiding. And I think there's a lot more work that could be done. There's certainly a lot of improvements that they could do to raid battles to make them a lot more streamlined, they could make them a lot more easy. And I also think that when it comes to some of the different features, when it comes to raids, there's certainly areas where Niantic could make it just a whole lot better. So I'm really hopeful for the year 2025. I think that there's plenty of things Niantic could do to raid battles that will actually make it just worthwhile for pretty much every single Pokemon Go player. Now, another area where I feel like Niantic has done an incredible job is in regards to live in-person events and with these special events. There's currently 3 major events that we have every single year. That is the Pokemon Go Tour event along with Pokemon Go Fest, and then most recently with the Wild Area event. And this is something that I've directly told Niantic. I've actually slipped into Michael Steranka's DMs to give him a lot of compliments regarding the Wild Area event as well as the Go Tour event and Go Fest event. I really enjoy these events and I think they do a phenomenal job. If you're able to attend any of the in-person events in Los Angeles, New York, Tokyo, like wherever they have them, like you really need to make your way out to any of these events because there's just a lot of fun. But even the global events, I feel like they do an incredible job getting a lot of content out there. If you are someone who doesn't want to spend any money, there's still a lot of things for you to do and a lot of really good and rare Pokemon for you to get. And as well as, if you decide to spend money, you will get your money's worth, in my opinion. Yeah, the price of tickets have certainly gone up over the years. Back in the day, Pokemon Go Fest was a measly $20 for the entire experience, but nowadays you can get different add-ons, the tickets themselves are a little bit pricier, but I still feel like you get your money's worth. You definitely get plenty of content to do, especially in the live in-person events, and if you want to enhance your experience, you could totally do that with additional money. I think they do a really good job with in-person events. I really feel like this is something that they do not get enough credit for. Pokemon Go Fest, Go Tour, and Wild Area, if these are the only events where I spend money and these are the only events where I play hardcore, then I'm totally okay with that, because you pretty much get a whole year's worth of content just out of these 3 events. And I think it's really because they top load these events with some great content, and you have to give them credit for that. So yeah, these are 2 areas where I feel like there are a lot of positive changes that have happened, but I think there's a lot of work that could be done. One area I would like to see Niantic put a lot of emphasis into is with PvP battles. I feel like with the Go Battle League, it's a little bit outdated at this point. I think there's a lot of gameplay improvements that they could make aside from just doing move shakeups to change the meta. I think when it comes to the stability issues, that's definitely something that needs to be addressed. But I do have a lot of faith that they can make PvP as good and improved as they did with raid battles. If they were to put a lot of emphasis and a lot of resources into making PvP so much better, then I do think it can be a very successful experience, and something that will be a major positive for Pokemon Go players. PvP right now feels kind of neglected. There's not much that they've done to improve the experience over the past couple of years. It just feels like it's kind of a forgotten child at this point, and I really do think that's something that should change. I think there's a lot of things that they could do to improve PvP to actually make it worthwhile, to make it something that's engaging, and I really hope those changes do come within the next couple of years. Now, another area where I feel like Niantic could make some strong improvements is in regards to gym battles and getting Pokecoins. I think this is something that a lot of players would like to see changed. This is probably the most outdated piece of content in Pokemon Go, considering that gym battles was reworked just slightly before raid battles were first introduced, and they haven't really done anything with them ever since then. I think there's so many good things they could do with gym battles. There's definitely a lot of, potential there. There's, just a lot of things that they should do. I feel like gym battles needs a huge update, and I'm really curious to see if something like a gym rework 2.0 could actually happen in 2025. We'll just have to wait and see, but at the very least, I do think that gym battles are definitely an area where Niantic could make some strong improvements. And then finally, I think a big point of improvement could be within like wild encounters. I really liked the mighty Pokemon that were introduced in the wild area event. I feel like there's a lot of potential there. Maybe this is something that will be a mainstay with future big events like Go Tour and Go Fest, but at the same time, I do feel like there's a lot of things that they could try out to make the Pokemon Go daily experience a lot better. Maybe they can make some improvements to routes and with party play and different things like that. Regardless of what they do, they just need to make sure that the daily experience is something that will be a positive for Pokemon Go players. Because with all the things that they've done to raid battles and with all of the stellar in-game events, more specifically the wild area event and different things like that, not necessarily the in-game events like the monthly events. Those are some things that really needs to get changed, but I still think there's a lot of positive things that they can do. I just feel like they're just focusing their energies on the wrong areas, and maybe that is one thing that could change in 2025 and actually make Pokemon Go such a positive experience. Because as of right now, outside of raid battles and outside of the special events, like, it just doesn't feel that fun to play Pokemon Go as of late. It just feels like your daily experience is very mundane. It doesn't feel very exciting and engaging. And with the in-game events, they're just top-loading them with a lot of monetization, which is, for someone like me who only spends money during these special events, I just feel like we're getting left behind, Like, it just feels like a lot of the stuff that we used to enjoy are now stuff we have to pay for. And I really don't like that. I really hope these are some of the things that Niantic reconsiders in 2025 because, like I said, I really want Pokemon Go to succeed and become a very positive experience. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. At the very least, I want to give credit where credit is due. They've done a really good job improving raid battles. They've done a really good job with the live in-person events. And I think there's a lot of improvements that they could make in other areas of content. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Is there a particular area of Pokemon Go that you feel like has seen drastic improvements? Are there different aspects of Pokemon Go that you see as a major positive? Definitely share what those things are in the comments down below, and let's have a great discussion. Oh, and one major improvement that they could make: redo the remote raid pass nerf. Like, just take it away. Like, bring remote raids back to what it was. I guarantee you the game would be incredibly popular and they're gonna make a ton of money at that point. So yeah, let me just throw that little tidbit out there. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one.